The New York Times, Rolling Stone, and critics everywhere are all raving about Annihilation.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
It's a mind-blowing experience, and now it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Annihilation, rated R, now playing.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, folks, how are you doing? It is great to be back here on this Saturday, this beautiful day, and I hope wherever you are, wherever you might be listening, you're having a beautiful day. I've got my tea right next to me, and of course, as usual, we have a fantastic guest, and I'm not going to tell you who that is until we get to that point. But remember, as I always say, you want to stay in contact with us, and if you want to do that, you got to check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/HWMag. Also on Facebook at Harlem World Magazine. Also at HW Mag, where there's some conversations that I have with you directly and indirectly. And, of course, on our website at harlemworldmag.com. And, you know, we're going to get right into it. And without further delay, before I even let you listen to her voice, we have Traci Lester here. She's Executive Director of the National Dance Institute, otherwise known as NDI. She's a former elementary school teacher. We got to talk about that. She's a mom. Wow. She's busy as an executive director and a mom, wearing a bunch of hats. And her daughter is a dancer at NDI. She's also a Harlem resident. NDI was founded by the legendary ballet dancer Jacques Dubois, and hopefully I pronounced the name correctly. NDI is Harlem-based. It teaches young girls important life skills like confidence, passion, teamwork as part of their in-school curriculum. You ask, does it work? Well, they have the program in over, from what I understand, and Ms. Lester can correct me, in 40 public schools. And that's 6,500 students per week. And, of course, we thought it would be a great idea as we start the school year to bring this conversation to Ann. Traci, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the program.
Yeah, welcome to be here, and thank you for taking time out of your Saturday. Did I miss anything, Ms. Lester, in my introduction of you?
No, I think you touched on the high points. I am a former public school teacher in New York City, and I have also been working with and in nonprofit organizations for over 25 years. So
wow.
I am a mom. I am a Harlem resident. So you were right.
Okay. And how do you balance? And I'm going to go completely off script here, and go right to how do you balance being a mom and taking on the executive director job at NDI? How do you balance that?
Well, it takes a village. Family and friends are ever so important in helping me to meet my goals and to help NDI achieve its goals. Schedules are key, and so staying on task and getting things done when we say we're going to do it. That's kind of how we live our day. Yeah. Oh,
that's fantastic, and I give you your props for that balance that you keep, and especially as I understand she's in the program at NDI. That's even better. You live the life that you work, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I think it's a passion, sure.
Well, certainly so, and I wanted to kind of talk about NDI's history, and I know the program was founded by ballet dancer Jacques Dubois. Am I pronouncing the name correctly?
Jacques D'Amboise.
D'Amboise, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that, why the program was founded, and why in Harlem?
Well, NDI was founded by Jacques D'Amboise in 1976, and he was a principal dancer for the New York City Ballet. And he realized that he wanted to give children all the same opportunities that he was given as a child and as he was going through his professional career. And he started approaching principals and schools about introducing dance and music into the school curriculum. And so he had this idea, and it was over 41 years ago. We are now in Harlem. We've been there for over 5 years on 147th Street. But we serve children all over New York City. And the key is to really introduce them, expose them to music and dance and the arts, and to help them to sort of aspire towards excellence through the arts. And, you know, in many cases, children may not have had an opportunity to dance, may not have really been exposed to different kinds of music, classical, jazz, or whatever. And so our goal is to really kind of create this platform for them so that they can see themselves in the context of the arts and really use that as a springboard for their life.
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting. As an artist myself, you know, I'm forever wondering why there isn't more of the arts in the school system, and we can almost have another show about that separately.
Right.
It still just astonishes me that that's the case that it is. Can you talk a little bit, Ms. Lester, about the impact NDI, broader, the arts if you want, but NDI has had in school programming, and especially of Harlem, if you can break it down that way?
Sure. I mean, since we've been in existence, we've served over 2 million children who've come through the NDI programs. That's tremendous impact.
That's amazing.
And our goal hasn't been to train professional dancers per se, but to really help instill valuable life lessons in children, like teamwork, confidence, working together in an inclusive kind of setting. And those are life skills regardless of where you go into your future, into adulthood. You will take them through middle school and high school and into the workplace. And so really that's what our focus has been, to give children this opportunity to participate in a joyful setting at an early age, using arts as the catalyst, and exposing them to arts, but really exposing them to the world of possibilities. And it is true that the arts are constantly sort of under assault in terms of being cut from school programmings or other settings, and they're so critical for social emotional development of children. They're so critical, and we fight for that every day to maintain that.
And again, you know, it just amazes me that we continue to have this fight when we have the facts, the statistics, all this information that proves how important arts is in the schools. But again, you know, we will post some information that speaks to that and that supports some of what we're talking about. But where did Jacques get the idea for the program? Do you have a sense of where he got that idea, or was it just something that popped into his head one day?
Well, he's a pretty amazing visionary person. He's with us at the NDI Center every day, and I really, for him, his exposure to the arts is what helped to sort of motivate his career, and he saw that as something that children should also experience. So it really was his idea, and it's something he was able to bring to fruition. And, you know, we live his vision every day through our amazing teaching artists who we train to go into the schools that we work with, the dance teachers and the musicians who accompany them. We have live music in every classroom that we work with the teaching artists. And,
I didn't know
they're
that.
paired
That's great.
Together. Yep. And at the beginning of the school year, starting in September, we work with schools through mid-year and through the end of the school year, and the program is part of the school day. It's not ancillary. It's not after school. It's very much incorporated into the school day curriculum. So the students are seeing NDI right there along with their teachers, and the parents are seeing NDI as an important part of their child's learning experience. And this all started with this idea that Jacques had about exposing children to the arts. And we've been able to continue to do this over 41 years, and now we're thankful to have our home, the National Dance Institute Center for Learning in the Arts on 147th Street, which is our home base, where we spread the word of NDI across the city. And also in our center, we offer programming for the community.
In the center, okay.
Yep, we have classes during the week as well as on the weekend. center classes for kindergarten, first grade, second, and third grade, and up. And our doors are open, and we welcome families to come in and check us out.
That's again. Great stuff. And you seem like a perfect person for the job because you've had, teaching experience as a former elementary school teacher. Ms. Lester, how do I want to ask this question? Was this part of your master plan? I'm going to be a school teacher and then I'm going to take on this position as executive director, or how did that happen? How did that evolution from elementary school teacher to executive?
I have always been committed to and in service to the community, and particularly interested in working with populations who might not otherwise have exposure to things that I had as a child. So that's been my personal commitment and my professional commitment. I, as a public school teacher, saw a lot of things that children needed, and did my best to help introduce them to that. But I've also worked in other settings in the nonprofit sector with different populations of families and children, and really I've just been committed to helping families and be the best that they can be. And so when NDI came along, I knew that it was the right opportunity, in part because the arts were a really important part of my life and in my early years and my exposure to music and to other art forms. And it's something that stayed with me for forever, and so I wanted to help other children have a similar experience.
Interesting. So was it that your experience came with the arts out of the music side, or was it a dance side, or both?
Well, a lot of people ask me, how did I come to NDI? Was I a former dancer? And I took dance as a child, like many children do. I had ballet.
Yeah, I did too. Right.
Right. But I didn't go on to be a professional dancer. I went on to work as an executive in the nonprofit sector. But the thing that really was important for my upbringing is that my father is a retired musician, and I can remember him practicing at night before he went out to perform. And I knew the American Songbook and the jazz grades early on. I may not have known all their names, but I knew the music.
But you knew the music, right?
I knew the music, and that was really pivotal. And my parents wanted us to learn music and the arts. They pushed us to study instruments and take dance and do other things. And
that's fantastic.
And it made a difference. And so somehow all of that has led me back to where I am now, which is at the National Dance Institute.
And, when did you realize that, when you had made that transition from educator to working in the nonprofit, that you were, following a track that, it was a track where you wanted to go, that you were happy with? When did you realize that? And, was it an aha moment, or over time it just felt right?
I'm not sure if it was an aha moment. I think it felt right. I knew that I had a particular skill set and perspective that would be helpful in supporting organizations as they go through change and thinking strategically about the environment, outside of the organization and inside. And so I knew that teaching wasn't the kind of end goal for me professionally. I think everyone should be a teacher and understand what it's like to kind of help shape and influence the thinking of young people.
Great job.
Because they're like sponges, and they have so much to give also, and you learn. It's very reciprocal, and so it was a life-changing experience for me, but I also knew that being in the classroom wasn't where I ultimately wanted to be professionally. And so I think it was just a process that I went through to get there.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it's great because I have much respect for teachers who do, important work and don't always get the, the benefits, whether it's economic or just in other ways for the work that they do. So I certainly give you your props for that. And at the same time, seeing a larger vision of the kind of work you wanted to do. And we're going to take this second here to let folks know they're listening to Harlem World Radio, and they're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and you're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and we're talking to Traci Lester. She is the executive director of the National Dance NDI in Harlem on 147th Street. I think I got that right. And if I didn't get it right, when we post this interview, we're going to put the URL and other information concerning NDI, and you can check it out. And now we're going to go right back to Miss Lester. Are you there?
I'm still here.
Fabulous. Don't go anywhere. I wanted to ask you the question, Miss Lester, why doesn't our culture understand the importance of arts education and how important it is to young people?
I think there's a lot of competition for different interests, and of course there are sort of the hard skills that children need to learn, the math, the science, other things. And so it often seems in competition, but there are so many different ways of learning, and the arts support that. You can do math with the arts. You can do science with the arts. I mean, it's very complementary. So for some reason it's been set up to
in so many ways, yeah.
In so many ways, like it's one or the other, but it's not. They all go in tandem to create a whole educational experience for children.
Well, and I completely agree with you 199.9%.
Okay.
and the bigger picture, when someone's listening to you and realize the great work that you've done, the great work that you're doing, what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your pumps professionally?
Well, it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of time, but I would say if you have a passion for something, find someone who's doing what you would like to be doing and mirror them. Ask them to be a mentor, kind of follow them and what they're doing, because mentorship is so very important. Right. And at NDI, our teaching artists are in some ways mentors to our children. They're the first ones that the children see when they come into the classroom, and they see them as dancers or musicians, and they think, I wonder what that would be like. And so I think mentorship is so key for our community and for our children. I would say find somebody that you aspire to be and ask them to be your mentor. I freelance all the time as we speak, and here I have another question that you're probably not prepared for, but I know you're prepared for it. Talk a little bit about teaching artists and what they do, because there may be someone out there listening who may want to be a teaching artist and doesn't quite know what that means, and there may be a parent out there. It's like, oh, my kid's with a teaching artist. What does that mean? Those artists, what are they doing? They teach? Okay. Can you talk a little bit about what a teaching artist does and all that good stuff? Sure. Well, the thing that makes NDI so amazing is the quality of our teaching artists. They are the teachers who go into the classrooms and work with the children, and they have learned and mastered the NDI pedagogy, the NDI approach to introducing dance and learning into the classroom. And so we actually train teaching artists at NDI. We have teacher training workshops. You can find out about it on our website at nationaldance.org. And if someone is a dancer or is interested in perhaps becoming a teaching artist with NDI, they only need to go to our website. We have upcoming trainings. There's one happening now. There'll be one in the early part of the new year. They can register for that and get introduced to NDI. And learn more about that. So we've created a pipeline for teaching artists at NDI as well.
That's fantastic. It sounds quite interesting. I'm sorry. I just lost my place here. As a Harlem resident, this is what I ask everyone, Traci. What is your favorite place in Harlem?
My favorite place in Harlem, aside from NDI and the National Dance Institute.
It can't be NDI.
It can't be NDI. One of the places I love to go and just enjoy the outdoors is Jackie Robinson Park, which is, I think, this this gem in Harlem that has gone through kind of a resurgence, and you can sit out. There's a band shell. There's live music and entertainment. There's the
Beautiful
playground, park, pool. I think Jackie Robinson Park is an amazing place just to sit on a Sunday afternoon with your family or alone and just be in the center of Harlem and still feel like you're with nature.
Oh, I love the parks, and you are right on point with that. That's one of the great parks that I love. But I love the parks, love them for the very things that you mentioned. And I wanted to also ask you, as we're speaking, I'm thinking of the future of NDI. What does NDI look like when, I don't know the age of your daughter, but maybe when she's an adult? Are there long-term plans for NDI, and what's the evolution of NDI 10, 15, 20 years down the road?
Right. Well, NDI has a pretty expansive reach. We're in 41 schools in New York City and serve 6,500 children. But we also have 12 associate programs across the country. And we also have partners in China and most recently in Lebanon. And so we are expanding our reach both nationally and internationally. So I think the future of NDI is one without borders, where our teaching methodology, our teaching artists, and our training have spread out and touched many children in many different settings, both in New York City and outside of the city. For us, it's that the NDI message is enduring and it lives on and it's without boundaries.
So, in theory, we could have an NDI all around the world, in every country, and almost in every state.
Yes, that's aspirational, but yes, we could, in theory. We have to speak to the federal government about some funding for that, but yes.
Yeah, I guess that would be a challenge, and I know kind of going there opens up another can, shall I say, and I'll just say that. But I think when you have a program like NDI who's doing the great work and working with so many students, I think if my memory serves me correct, you said 2 million students since the founding.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's pretty amazing, and the thirst that other parts of the United States and around the world has for the arts and for dance, it really makes a lot of sense. So, not that that's what you'll do, but I could just, it's not brain surgery to realize how important the program is and how important it can affect other kids. Our listeners and our readers are all over the place, Ms. Lester. They're in Harlem, they're across the United States, they're around the world. Can you give our listeners, whether it's your URL or your Facebook or Twitter feed, where they can stay in contact with NDI and with you to keep abreast of what's going on, if they want to have their daughter as part of the program? Can you give some of that information so they can stay in contact with you?
Sure. Well, I just wanted to say we serve children, boys and girls, so it's inclusive for all.
I didn't know it was boys too. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. We work with all children. It's not specific to girls.
Get it right, Tisdale. All children, not just young girls. Okay.
All children from all kinds of backgrounds and with all kinds of abilities. We just want to know that we work with children with different abilities.
Fantastic.
As well. And so our website is nationaldance.org. Our Twitter handle is @NationalDance. You can also find us on Facebook by searching for National Dance Institute, and you can find us on Instagram as well.
Oh, fantastic. And as I said earlier, we will post a lot of those links on the website, harlemworldmag.com, so folks can listen to the interview and to all the great information that you've been providing for our listeners. And I really want to give you your props for doing the great work that you're doing, and of course for being a part of Harlem and contributing to the great history that happens as we speak, and that we build everything upon. And thank you, Traci Lester, for being on the show, and really look forward to the continued work that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the program.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye. Well, folks, there you are. Traci Lester, she's doing incredible work as executive director of the National Dance Institute, and hopefully one of these days I'll pronounce Mr. Jacques D'Amboise name correctly. I'm going to work on that. But definitely check out the website for the National Dance Institute and check out the great work that they're doing. And if your son or daughter wants to learn about the arts and learn about dance more specifically, go ahead and check them out. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Meet Davis.
Hi.
Davis is from Pollock, South Dakota.
Yep.
We took Davis from Pollock to fish for Pollock in Alaska.
Sure did.
The same wild-caught pollock in a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich.
Uh-huh.
There were boats, nets, waves.
And fish.
And some delicious Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. So you could say Davis is one lucky guy.
Good one.
Thanks, Davis.
Catch some pollock of your own with McDonald's Filet-O-Fish Fridays. Just $1.99 for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or any combo meal.
The New York Times, Rolling Stone, and critics everywhere are all raving about Annihilation.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
It's a mind-blowing experience, and now it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Annihilation, rated R, now playing.